farmer, friend, singer-songwriter, Lyal Strickland.
And that's farmer, friend, and jack of all trades, Chris Horn.
And we're those Tastebudguys.
Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining us one more. I assume that's on, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
One more time.
Red light.
Chris, that's live.
Red light's on. I think we're good.
Not the first episode tonight, as you might be able to tell. Might be our fourth episode tonight, and we're just now starting the Scotch. Anyhow, thanks for joining us one more time, or maybe it's your first time. I don't know. However, please go over and check out our friends over at Hochtown Distilling. They're over out of Oklahoma. They would very much appreciate your views. You can look them up online, or you could go over and see them yourself, or you could just go to your local liquor drink shop, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Drink shop.
Well, I mean, you could be at a bar. You could be at a bar. You could be at a.
What is it?
You could be at a liquor store. I don't know. I couldn't think of the word liquor store right there.
Like, but now I'm thinking of those Coke machines where you can like suicide your flavors and stuff. I'm like, oh, I want that for liquor.
You go somewhere and you ask for them. They may not have it. And if they don't have it, you say, hey, you think you can maybe look into getting that for me? And then, I mean, I would probably, which one would you suggest? I'm kind of,
you know me, I'm all in on the single barrel, but the small batch hits my, small batch select hits my palate.
I think I'd go single barrel. If I was going to have to ask for, wait, is that the one we had that was special?
We have one special one and we have another bottle.
Single barrel.
Yeah.
Single barrel. You're right. All right, single barrel. I'd ask for that one. Okay.
Green to Glass, Oklahoma. Good
Anyway,
stuff.
check them out. They'd appreciate it. We'd appreciate it.
However, now we're
All that good stuff.
skating across the ocean to Scotland. Good old Scotland.
Is it Scotland?
Surely.
Imported in Connecticut. I could smell it from here.
Yeah. I assume this is a blended, right? Yeah, blended Scotch. Okay.
But it also
Intense.
just says product of Scotland. It really doesn't tell us. Distilled, matured, blended, and bottled in Scotland. Angus Dundee.
Okay.
Apparently, it might be in Australian Scotland.
That's not a knife.
That's not a bottle of Scotch.
I remember that you bought this bottle quite a while
A
ago.
long time.
And I remember, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that this was a fairly cheap bottle.
It was.
But blended Scotch,
By cheap, I'm thinking it was probably $30-ish, if I remember correctly.
which for a Scotch is cheap.
Pretty cheap.
Let's just buy for. We don't do research before.
Yeah, if this is your first time, you don't know that yet, but anyhow, it's called For Pete's Sake.
Right.
And
How much do you think this bottle is in total wine?
I assume it's like $25 or $30.
It is $21.99.
All right.
Yeah, that is a
$20 to $25 for a bottle of Scotch.
cheap ass bottle of Scotch. I mean, that's Johnny Walker level, and Johnny Walker is not.
On the nose, it don't smell.
Well, that's what I was getting at. Is like I smelled it while you were doing the Hochtown stuff, and there is a
Definitely some islay blended Scotch,
yeah.
which is not a terrible thing. But I couldn't. Now, it does have some fruitiness behind it that makes me think it might not be all Islay Scotch.
Now, for those of you who just are getting into Scotch, Islas are going to be very smoky, campfire-esque, chewing on charcoal, as opposed to like Dewar's and Johnny Walker. I'm trying to think of some other blended Scotches that are going to be probably more
Interesting thing, I don't know if I told you this or not. So Johnny Walker doesn't distill their own stuff. Johnny Walker is a blend that they grab from a lot of other places.
Yeah.
We went to one of the distilleries down there that makes about 80% of the stuff for Johnny Walker.
Mm-hmm.
But they're owned by Diageo, which owns a lot of stuff, including, what was it we did the other day? One of the tequilas we did. Anyways, that's a side story. I'm getting sidetracked. Anyways, I had some of the stuff that was done right at the distillery, and it was really good. Which makes me go, why don't I like Johnny Walker so well? But
Johnny Walker's fine. It's just it's just a little.
Well, they did have some interesting stuff where they had some certain bottles of Johnny that was, hey, here's just like some unknown stuff. Then they had some bottles that was a little nicer where they're like, these are blended with only from these distilleries. And then they had some others yet. So it was like, this is only from 3 distilleries or whatever. And it was very expensive though. But
I don't think and there's some Dewar's episodes we did. I don't think anything's wrong with Johnny or Dewar's. Don't get me wrong, but typically what you're going to find at the bar is probably Johnny Walker Red, Johnny Walker Black. Fine, but it's going to be
Dewar's White.
So it's going to be like
Glenlivet 12
Highland
or 10.
12. Yeah, Glen 12 is usually there. But all that to say, this has a pretty nice nose to it.
Okay. So now that I've ranted for a minute and come back to it,
It's a little
acclimated myself, I was thinking orange. It's got a lot of orange notes to it.
I get fruit, so I was going to say some lemon, but we'll say citrus.
Fruit, yeah, so a citrus nut under there.
That's under.
But it's not
That's
unpleasant.
under the smoke. I mean, the smoke is first and foremost. There's almost kind of a soapy sour note towards the end of that nose. But not enough to like peel me away from it, so.
This is a really interesting little story on the back of this that I'll read here in just a second that probably isn't true. It has nothing to do with anything.
Oh, see. On first blush, that's disappointing. I'm going to try it one more time.
Oh, now see, on first taste. All right, I'll wait to see what you say because I've got an opinion on it, so.
I mean, let me throw this up front. Price point? Holy shit. I would buy this all day long.
Okay.
As a nice little
I agree.
drinker that you could just pull out and have that smoky flavor. But in terms of like stacking it up against Wee Beastie from Ardbeg or some of the other islay scotches, heavy peated scotches, even some of the more fruity, lighter scotches.
I
like
keep thinking
Bunnahabha's.
Dewar's, honestly.
But I will say this, it's light and approachable on the tongue. It maintains a heavy smoke, but none of that, it's like the smoke is floating. It's like, yeah, a little bit. It's like floating above the actual scotch itself. It's like there's scotch and then there's smoke.
Okay. No, I get that because as strong as that comes across, and it's nice, it's not sour, which I will say that is a huge bonus point. A lot of scotches will finish sour. This one does not.
And the nose is really good. I will say, I like the nose.
What I'm finding is that flavor goes in and it's got a very Highland feel to it. And let me take it back, not Highland. A Speyside feel to it because it's got all them fruity, salty notes in there. And but when it finishes, as you said, it almost separates. The smoke stays high on the roof of my mouth. It stays on the tip of my tongue. And then the back end feel of all that literally turns to water. It's just this, it's very pleasant. Now, I like a big, strong, stout, manly scotch.
Manly scotch.
And that's my go-to. So I'm kind of talking down when I talk about this, but actually it's fairly pleasant.
Yeah.
It really has a nice,
I think that this
pleasant, it's a nice finish.
Like I said, I would drink this bottle without question.
40%.
I think that this is a nice transition for somebody who likes Highland scotches, maybe has drifted into the single malt territory of Highland scotches, like a little stronger, a little more peaty, but the islays are just too much.
Yeah,
I say islay. Isla?
Yeah,
That's correct.
Isla is. That's what they say over there is Isla, but
the Isla scotches are just too smoky, too harsh for them. This is maybe a waypoint, and a waypoint and a great price point.
I would buy this again, and I'll tell you why I would buy it. Not only is it not terrible and unpleasant to drink or anything like that, but also it's a price point that I could put this over ice if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I could kill the bottle if I wanted to.
And no regrets.
If I wanted to use a mixer and make sure I had a Scotch flavor in that, this is not going to piss me off.
Holy fuck.
To dump this into a mixer.
Yeah, I think you just hit on something because
Yeah, that's what I do, dude. I'm one of those taste bud guys.
Wait, where the fuck am I? What show is this? One of my favorite things
This came from Scotland.
is when I go to a bar and they have a good cocktail, that legit good, that's made with an Islay Scotch, right?
I've never had a cocktail with Scotch in it that I thought was good.
Oh,
Scotch can only be made worse when it leaves the bottle.
no. There was a place in Charleston, South Carolina, called the Gin Joint.
Been to Charleston, but not the gin joint.
And they used Lafroig 10 in a cocktail, and it was absolutely mind-blowingly good. But the problem is like when you get to that point, you're using Lafroig 10, you're using a $60 to $80 bottle.
70 or 80, yeah.
Yeah.
I would kill to get a bottle for 60 anymore.
Oh my God, you hate to like put an ounce and a half of that.
Now you're paying $15 for a cocktail.
I mean, to be fair, it was like $22 for a cocktail.
Yeah.
But that was at a bar. But I mean, even then, like, even if you're just doing it at home, that's pricey shit. This, I think you're right, would impart that smoky, big Islay flavor, and actually would allow
flavor to
it would allow the other stuff to shine through on it. I think this might be a cocktail Scotch that's drinkable on its own.
I figured out. This is like a combination of having a glass that is 2 parts Glenmorangie and 1 part Lafroig. That's what this is. 2 parts Glen. It's got that orange peel, citrus flavor in it. That Highland, which I know I said was Space Side, so add a little salt, a dash of salt to it, and then put in a 1 part Lafroig to it, and I think you're going to be right where this one's at.
I just want to create like a Starbucks of booze.
I did find out. I did watch an episode of something.
That's a great marketing thing. Like, two parts Glenmorangie and 1 part Lafroig, and with a dash of salt, to create Himalayan sea salt on it.
I asked him when I was up there how you say it. Is it Glenmorangie or Glenmorangie or whatever? And I said,
What'd they say?
Didn't give a fuck as long as you're buying their Scotch.
That's the right answer. That's the right answer.
Also, don't call it Scotch. It's just whiskey over here. Anyways, so there's a story on the back that says Peat was a malt man. P-E-A-T was a malt man. One day he shoveled too much peat, P-E-A-T, into the kiln. With smoke billowing out of the pagodas, the distillery manager shouted, "For Pete's sake, P-E-A-T, what are you doing? There's smoke everywhere." Surprisingly, the whiskey, with no E, from this very smoky, with no E, and peaty, E-A-T, malted barley was intensely flavored and with an exceptional finish. For Pete's sake, as the label says, blended Scotch whiskey is a tribute to Peat, E-A-T, and his rich, smoky, no E, and peaty, no E, whiskey, no E.
Okay. I feel like this is
There's one other thing I want to point out.
Yeah.
In general, right now in this basement,
Yes.
most people, I find it very comfortable to be down here right now. Most people would probably say it's colder than balls in here. I'm guessing it's 65 degrees. That bottle is probably 60 or maybe a hair under. It's pretty freaking cold. It's perfect
I was gonna say,
for drinking.
I was like,
This has
this
this
is-
beautiful, nice.
like if you're
Trail
cold,
in.
if you're cold down to taste buds, have another drink.
I'm not cold. I'm fat. I freaking am very comfortable. I'm just saying, there's people that would walk in here and go, "Ooh, it's cold." We need to
Probably don't chili. Yeah. This is probably too long of an episode for this cheap, well, divey shit bottle.
Is it though?
But that's the unicorns, right? Those are the unicorns where you go.
This is pretty good.
I'm not saying that this is the best.
Long
thing ever.
will blow it out of the water all day long.
Everything will blow it out. But at $22,
I would take this over
Walker.
Johnny Walker. I'll take it over almost every Deers that I've had. I'll take it over almost every Glenlivet I have.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I think the Glenlivet Double Oak and the
That's a
Glenlivet
good one.
Founders.
But I did say almost. I don't care.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think it's on par. I'll put it that way.
So shocked
It's
it
on
doesn't
par.
get sour. It's
Yeah.
still good. It's
Yeah.
still good.
Go get yourself a bottle. You got nothing to lose. Absolutely.
$21.95. Can't beat that.
Yeah, you will drink it. You will mostly enjoy it, surely. I think it is worthy. Until next time,
For Pete's sake.
whether it be the food you're eating,
Clothes you wear.
people you're meeting, buddy. I got mixed up on my ending. You stumped me finally.
Wow.
Grab a buddy and try something new.